Hello, welcome to the daily levels for Thursday, May 23, 2024. I'm Sam Morton. It's 8:41 a.m. We'll come back to this chart after the market closes and analyze all the trades in the E-minis based on the levels here in the SPY. See you then. It's almost 11 p.m. now. The reason it's so late and that it took me so long to make this video is because I was working myself out of a bad trade, which will make sense when we look at the recording of today's trades. I want to talk through a few things first. If you haven't seen the video from this morning where I kind of explained my thought process for the day, it might be good to look at it. I'll put a link up here somewhere for it and at the end of this video. Because we kind of talked about were they going to satisfy something higher? Because when the market opened this morning, they got up to 534 in the pre-market. And when they opened, they were right up here, top part of this zone. So, can it be said that they satisfied this zone and this is a rollover? I want to show you a 2-hour chart later where it makes more sense because they came down the whole day. Is a pretty big down day. So, playing by the rules, this first trade, a long trade here, would have gotten you a fumble, and you would have reversed. The reversal would have given you, and by the way, it was almost exactly a little bit over 4 points lost on the fumble and a 4-point base hit on the reversal. So that first level was in a wash, playing by the rules. What you'll see in the recording of the live trades today is I actually identified a zone, another level low. Well, I'm tired. Another level a little bit lower, so that created a zone, and I was able to get almost a base hit out of this. So it was better than a wash. I identified levels all over the place today. It was kind of sloppy trading. There's some things I did which I would not advise and not advocate at all. But anyway, so this was, I started out in the money. This was a very good trade here, 529. They bounced off of it. So when they came down into this next level, 527.50, this is where things started to go south for me because I got a clue, two clues really. They came within just a tick or so of satisfying a base hit. You can see this little, in fact, I'll just put, so the operating level is 527.55. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a level here, 95. There's 40 cents right there. So this would be the profit objective. And they came up really close, pulled back down to the entry point and did it again. So when they were below here, I really had the feeling I should just bail out of this trade at a slight loss at this point because this doesn't feel right. I didn't. I held on. And so what happened next was kind of chaotic because I ended up buying again here. No signal of a fumble. Not enough time had elapsed. And I also did something I don't normally do. Thought they had finally satisfied or built up enough support down here, and I bought again. I bought another 2 contracts and then identified a zone down here, a level down here, and bought again. So I was actually long 8, and I was pretty close to my maximum of pain tolerance, if you will. I like to keep my trades with a healthy amount of margin. I just like to just use a very small amount of my available margin. So I was kind of getting to where this would have been pretty bad if I jumped out at a loss. But there were some indications that they weren't just going to fall all the way. I mean, they did fall out of bed essentially all day, but it's not typical that they don't find some type of support. And the other thing is, they tend to retrace the next day, at least in the future. So I kept this thing open past the close of the market, 415. I kept it going even when it, and I'll show you the trade. I've got it all the way up until 9:30, 9:45 or so. It finally came back up, and they're still coming back up here. It's currently the E-minis at, what time is it? 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern are at 52.95. So when we see the trades, let's just watch the live recordings now, and you'll see where they got to, and then they're climbing back up. So they've got a pretty decent retracement already. Kind of figured they would do this. So I was able to crawl myself out of that, or claw myself out of that hole and redeem the trade. And I actually ended up pretty good at the end of the day, but not something I would recommend doing. It was a kind of a harrowing day, honestly. All right, to start with, it's right before 9:45. Looking up here, thinking they're going to hit the bottom of this zone. Remember, I told you that there was another level right in this area. So I was going to sell 2, but didn't happen. They never got up there. So now I'm looking at the next level down, which is 530.70. So I bought 2 here, and there's the other level I identified and just scaled in. So that was triggered. Then I ended up buying 2 more. They didn't come up and give me my base hit here, but I was able to scale in and out of the money for a little bit. And really where the support they found was really the gap down here where they closed. It's kind of this general zone. So that was kind of the safety net. So I'm looking at that and willing to ride this for a while. So, it didn't feel good for a while, but this is just a 1 minute chart. So, I mean, it looks a lot more dramatic on this shorter time frame. When you're looking at larger time frames, you see other things, a lot of convergences of other, indicators and tools that I use. You start to see, well, they're going to probably bounce here somewhere. And they did. So when they came up after a while, here we go. Once again, instead of taking the entire 4 contract position off, I took 3 off. Thought I'd trail one about 6 points or so, see if they'd go higher. And I should have just taken all 4 off because they didn't really come up. I mean, that was my target, but they just pulled right back down, stopped me out. So slightly less than the base hit, but still started the day in the green with that trade. And as you saw, the 529 level was very nice. That happened, here we go. Happened here right at 11 o'clock a.m. Didn't take very long. I just went ahead and took the 2 contracts off right there. So that level worked very well. And all right, so let me back up here because this level here at 531.52. So there's nothing here. See, this area that isn't satisfied, and then you have this bottom of the zone. This I identified 531.52, thinking that if they got up here, I might go ahead and sell. I don't normally do this kind of thing, but I just want to point out how close they got. And that was it. That was kind of the interim high for really the rest of the day. But I didn't take the trade. And then I did this other thing where I just bought again just 1 contract when they came out of the zone. I saw something else that looked like they were going to go higher, and they did. So I just bought 1 contract, got a base hit on it, and they surpassed that 4-point objective and climbed a little bit. So that was a nice little kind of unplanned trade. So I'm doing okay at this point. Now they're coming all the way down into 527.55. So let's look at this closely. Okay, first of all, let me pause this. I thought I had this keyed in to the system to trigger automatically when they hit this level, and it didn't happen. So when I saw what was happening, kind of off my peripheral and looked over, I just went ahead and bought at the market. Bought 2 contracts. And so here's my clues. They got up really close, pulled back down to the entry point. Give it a couple more minutes. They did the same thing, got up like within a tick or so. And by the way, you'll notice because I didn't get the precise entry point, I'm not looking for a full base hit. I'm just looking for like 3 points or whatever. This is where I remember thinking, I should just jump out, but I didn't. And I regretted it almost immediately. But since I was committed, I just played by the rules and looked for stops or things to happen under this fumble threshold. They did not happen, and they just fell all the way down into this next level. I bought again, so now I'm long 4. And I have no other levels below here. So the thing that I did, which is very unorthodox, not really sure why I did it, even after the fact when I'm looking at this, is after watching them, what looked like they were going to establish some support here, looking at other charts and other time frames, I just bought again as they were on the way back up here. So I have 6 contracts at this point before I identified a level down here. There it is, 525.01. Not really thinking they would get to it. I thought at this point I would just take my 6 off. But they kept going down. So I ended up buying 2 more at 525. And that was the place. Get back down. Here we go. So now I'm long 8 and waiting to get the support I need to at least pull something out of it. And I let it go all the way past the close of the regular session. Let me back up here. There we go. So here's 415. So by the time the futures closed, I was, around a negative $1,000 or so. So it would have been, still would have been ended in the green. I was still had more closed trades that were higher than that. So anyway, here is the aftermarket. 6 o'clock. I kept it open, and I lowered my objective just for like, what is this, 3 points or so, a little more than 3 points, just to get out of this trade. Because typically what happens when they have that type of fall in the day, there's going to be some type of retracement in the aftermarket session. Like the futures are going to pretty much climb up, and I'll show you this in a 2-hour chart, because now after several hours, they're doing just that. So I figured if I gave it enough time, and I did that, I gave it plenty of time. So here's a time just going along, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. I think it wasn't until till 9 that they finally got up into the green enough to where I felt pretty good that they were going to hit that 1275 right there. And they kept climbing. And they're still climbing. I don't know how high they're going to go. It doesn't really matter. I got out of the trade, so ended up with 2,400, which was not bad considering I was in a hole for much of the day. But anyway, then it took quite a long time for this video to process and to get this, speed these things up so I can show it to you. But anyway, back to the full day one more time. So now we have the chart with the lines drawn on, or at least the additional lines drawn on. they're dotted to show that they were satisfied. This was kind of the zone I created. Simple trade there. This is where I screwed up and traded there. Added a level down here, traded. Of course, you saw that extra one where I think it was right here. Yeah, they bounced out of this zone. I took an extra trade. But anyway, a lot of back and forth. The log's not the cleanest looking thing, but we'll take a look at that. Actually, no, before we do that, I want to show you the 2-hour chart. First, the ES chart. Don't normally show this in longer time frames here, but so this is with the after the 24-hour session. So you see they closed, this is down here when they closed at 4:15, and they've just been climbing back up as I thought they would. So along the way here, I was able to redeem myself and get back, crawl myself out of that hole. But this is the one I want to show you. So here's the SPY. It's a 2-hour chart. Here's the zone up here that we've been talking about for a long time. Yes, they've been consolidating underneath it with the kind of appearance that they want to go higher. Well, they went higher up to 534 right up here in the pre-market and opened here and fell down. So, could it be said that this was kind of what they were going to do? Because they definitely got to this zone and it was the resistance that I thought it would have, but not really in the manner that I thought it would have. But anyway, showing you this chart because they bounced right off of this 50-period moving average, which worked pretty well. Coincided with a couple other things, and that was kind of my safety net, and why I went long down to the bottom at that 525.01, whatever that number was. Over here on the log, the first one, playing by the rules, pretty straightforward. Just open this up so you can see. You would have fumbled on the first one, and you lost basically. It was 4.25 points when you would have reversed, and would have given you a base hit on the reversal. So that would have been essentially a wash, a simple base hit, a very nice one at 529. And this column, or this level in column B, 527.50, was the one where it would have triggered you. I mean, I was triggered, you saw it. And instead of just obeying the signals where it said, okay, it came up, almost gave me the base hit twice, actually, before pulling back down to the entry point very quickly and then falling lower, kind of should have given me a clue. And I remember having a feeling that I shouldn't be in this trade, but I just didn't heed the gut feeling there or the rules and lost that one. But that's why you should have treated that one. And then that meant getting down to 520. You would have been free and clear, no trades, nothing open at that point. So 526.05 would have been a nice base hit. So that's playing by the rules with a total of, whatever that is. That's 7.75 points total. I was a mess. So I did the math. I'm not going to spell the whole thing out here between, 4 contracts, 2 contracts, 1, then 8 when I scaled in. It was actually 13.75 points total. So it was $2,400 before commissions and $36 or something worth of commissions because I had so many silly trades. And would not recommend. This is kind of sloppy trading. Better just to stick to the rules. It tends to happen a lot quicker anyway, instead of waiting out these long, drawn-out trades that take forever to develop. So anyway, long day. I hope you found some value in this. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing, liking these videos, supporting the channel. I appreciate it. One more day, and by the way, since there's a holiday on Monday, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I probably won't be trading tomorrow. I'll do a video in the morning, kind of analyze what's going to happen or what I think might happen. I'll put out some levels. You're welcome to trade them if you want. Try them out. And the video that I make for Friday probably won't get made until Sunday evening, maybe even Monday. I'm going to be out of town. So anyway, have a good and safe weekend. See you next week on Tuesday. Thanks.